What's going on, guys? Today we're doing a tree stand placement video and how you're probably not optimizing your spots. So as you can see out there through this little field edge here, we've got an alfalfa field back there, a big destination food source until like late November once all the alfalfa turns brown. Right behind me, another 20 feet is the property line. So we can't hunt this, but everything this way and this way is ours. So what happens is over here on our property, the bedding is over that way, and that way is west. So if you're a deer hunter and you're pretty serious about it, you know why that's good, right? So on a westerly wind, which is pretty much the predominant wind, the deer have to travel with the wind at their back towards the food source. So that means any deer that is bedding on our property over there has to travel and be upwind of me until they cross me if I am sitting in a stand on this fence row. If you've been deer hunting for a while, you're probably familiar with the term hunting the fringes, which is what I do. That's my approach. Is I hunt on the fringes and I let the deer come to me instead of intruding, especially on a small property like this. But we don't normally or typically have a big mature buck bedding on our bedding right there. We have a lot of does on our property, so it displaces a lot of the bucks, unfortunately. But what that does mean is that behind me on the neighbor's property, if there's bucks bedded here, and this happened 2 years ago, the situation is that if the bucks are coming from the neighbor's property that way, or they're coming from the alfalfa field, what they do is they will come from the field to this opening here, and they'll come in. As you can see, there's deer trails. There's going to be too many for me to point out, so just bear with me here. So the bucks will come either from the field this way or from the neighbors this way. And they will use these trail systems. There's one here and one over here. And they will come down this trail on a high ridge. Below me is a valley. And we've probably got 15 or 20 feet of elevation change. So that really brings the scent up or down, depending on which way your thermals are going for the time of day. But most of the time when they're doing this, the scent is going to travel upwards, especially with a west wind. So the scent is coming up. That bucks the opportunity to come from the destination food source, see if there's does out there, or come from the neighbors, walk this trail system down, and be able to scent check that bedding area that is 100, 150 yards away to see if there's a hot doe in there. And as you can see, there's quite a few trails going in and out here. But the deer typically move this way. So 2 falls ago, well I guess, yeah, going on 2 falls ago, I was hunting, this would be like considered pre-rut. So there was a lot of action going on in the alfalfa field. I had a lot of does out there, and I had some bucks out there, a couple smaller bucks, but they weren't acting like anything was in heat. And I knew that there was still more does because I could see them through my binoculars out in this bedding area. Well, a buck came from the neighbors, just like I was saying, circled out into the field to see what was out there, started walking down this trail. At that time, another doe started working her way out as that buck was coming through to scent check that bedding area, and that doe made her way out into the field as well. So he comes out, does the big loop, is about 45 yards away from me, so I didn't take the shot at first. He comes around, goes through the field, hops out once he smells the doe. He smelled her and seen her going out. He goes into the field, chases her around, ends up entering back through here. There's a little trail on the other side of these trees here. Comes through here chasing the doe. And I don't know if we'll be able to see it off of just my GoPro. But right here in this tree, there's a tree stand. And 30-yard shot, dropped him right here. Well, after I shot, the deer went like 5 yards and died right here. I sat in my tree because it wasn't dark yet, and I wanted to give him time to expire. Another buck that was even bigger came and walked the same trail and did the exact same thing. I don't know if he heard the commotion or was already just in the area and was coming to scent check, but he did the exact same thing that previous buck did. So if you're still a little confused and you're wondering what does that mean for us on today's video, we're going to talk about it a little bit more, and I hope to give you a little better visual. So I'm here sitting in my stand, and this is my view. So I'm facing west right now, so the wind is most of the time going to be in my face, which you might think isn't great for the alfalfa field, but not a lot of deer enter from down this way. Most of the deer enter from my left. Now it looks like a mess right now, and I might clear some shooting lanes, but once these leaves come off, I have a pretty good shot out into the field within 40 yards. But so if our bedding is over here and this direction is west, little fawn just jumped right in front of me. These bucks most of the time are gonna circle around this way and walk up this ridge here and scent check this bedding area out here. Now they're either gonna make a decision and they're going to go in towards the bedding area, or they're going to circle around onto this trail and come out. So this gives me a good chance of intercepting bucks going to check bedding areas. If you've ever heard the term rut stand, this is exactly what this stand is for me. I've sat this stand earlier in the season and I've sat it later in the season. And yeah, I mean, I get traffic coming through here. There's a ton of deer in this area. But the time when this shines is when I have hot does in the vicinity. Most of the time they're in the bedding area or out in the field back there. And these bucks are going to scent check that bedding area or try to take the inside corner of the field so that they're still in the cover and they can scan the field. The lighting's not great right here, but I wanted to show you. I did want to move this stand, but here's my problem. As we're growing in the tree. It's not that this is a bad stand, it's just that I think I could put it in a better area. So we're walking towards the south, right? If we were facing in my stand to the west, I'm going to go back to the left here. So even though I harvested a nice buck in the stand that we just were sitting in, here's my dilemma with that stand. So here where we're at, we've got the back corner of the field and it narrows down here and then it opens up another 60 yards, gets wider. But then down this way, about 600 yards, there's a road, there's a house, right? So the main section of this field right here is too open, right? There's not enough cover, there's too much going on for a buck, unless he's scared or something, unless someone spooked him. Most of the time he's not going to want to take that straight path unless he's just dogging a doe the whole time. They're going to do inside corner things, right? So he might come from over here, but he's probably going to go through this little fence row, work his corner over here to get into this property and check this bedding area. So if you've checked out any of my other videos on deer hunting, you know that I saddle hunt, and you're probably confused on why I said I want to leave a climbing stand in here. I'm not interested in putting my saddle out here just because I want this to be a quick and efficient get up. So I don't have a stand available right now that I can get up as far as I'd like. I like to sit about 20 feet. Right now I got like a 12-foot stand. I just have a ladder stand. I don't have any hangers and sticks right now. And I've got enough tree stands, I don't need to go buy anymore. So that's why I'm thinking I'm gonna leave a climber in here. I'm not saying that saddles aren't efficient. I just want to be able to slip in real quick and not have to mess with it. If I already have my climber set up on a tree, I can just hop on it and I can get up in that tree in like 45 seconds. The one exception to using my saddle on this property is, so the bedding area is down there in this low ground. It takes a weird bend, like kind of a horseshoe shape, and I have a food plot set up in there. And if you watch some of my food plot stuff, it is what I refer to as a sorghum plot. And I would sit on the northwest side of the sorghum plot. I have a tree picked out that I think I could hang my saddle in and hunt it 1 or 2 times. I think that would be a good morning spot, morning to midday, when I could catch bucks moving and checking those bedding areas during the rut. And that's when I would use the saddle on this property. If you guys like this video about rut stands and how to make sure that they're in the correct place, leave a like, leave a comment down below if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, if you have something else we want to talk about. And other than that, I appreciate you guys watching, and any interaction you guys can give me really helps me out as a small content creator, and I appreciate it a ton. So thank you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.